talking with Chio as well, who does such a great job covering, you know, real 106.1, but it's a lot of throwbacks and old school, and that's what we do here is we get caught in a time warp. That's why we got young bucks like Zay here to kind of keep us honest, you know, with what's happening nowadays. But just a little bit about, you know, what you've been doing and kind of embracing the scene here, the music scene here as part of being, you know, in the forefront of it, being on the radio and whatnot.
Well, the throwback format is a new format because if you take the era from like the late 80s, 88, 89, specifically the 90s and the early 2000s, no one really plays that music anymore. Like no one's playing it. And if a hip hop station, a current hip hop station, like our sister station, Power 99, if they do play like a Fat Joe record from the 90s or Big Pun, let's go to Big Pun. If they play a Big Pun, it's like once a month in a mix show. So there was a demographic that was not being satisfied. You know, we thought, according to research, in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah, this demo right here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so if you like, you know, hip hop became mass appeal in the 90s, and it's and right now it's the #1 form of music in all of America. For the first time, it has surpassed rock. The current hip hop has surpassed rock as the most popular musical format in the United States of America. But hip hop, the 90s is what brought it. Dr. Dre, Snoop, Ice Cube, and NWA. You know Nas, Biggie. You know,
don't get him started, please.
Yes, Tupac. So all those great hip hop artists, you don't hear no more because no one's really playing. And if you hear a Biggie song, like I said, on a hip hop station, it's like once a week. Not enough. Right. Not enough. So a lot of people don't like the new hip hop. They call it what mumble rap. Yeah. Some people like it, some people don't like it.
But let me ask you this though, because classic rock itself is one of, you know, every city has a classic rock station, correct. And they're very popular. And some would argue that
sometimes two classic rock.
Exactly, yes. And some would argue that, as you're saying, modern rock is just like modern rap is not for everybody, right? Classic rock has become very popular to the point where I've always wondered, can throwback hip hop become the more dominant hip hop station or genre of the time? Like, do you see that happening?
For me in my career, if that happens, then I walked in. You know what? I mean, I'm hoping that because back in the day, let's go to the rock. The rock stations were just playing the current music back like in the 70s, right? Somebody, some radio programmer or whatever, came up and said, "Hey, no one's playing the classic stuff, so let's try doing a classic rock station." The format is a legitimate format. Right now, classic hip hop and R&B is not a legitimate format. They got a few. There's one in Sacramento. Chicago just put one on. My company was about to put one on in Chicago. We were doing research because we think it's a viable format.
Oh, it is.
But another company beat us to it. Chicago has one, Seattle has one, Sacramento has one, San Diego has one, and then us. And I think that's it. So there's 5.
I'm shocked that the Northeast, the birthplace of hip hop, wouldn't.
I think New York's going to have one. I think New York's going to get one soon. You got BLS. I'm sure he's 107.5. They're more of a like a soft R&B. You know, like a DAS here is in Philly. Not really doing that like the hip hop. They'll play 1 or 2 hip hop throwbacks an hour. Well, not enough. So I hope it becomes a legitimate format. I don't know if it is.
That station is 105.1 up in New York.
107.5.
There was a station years ago when I was up there doing national stuff that opened up. I don't know if Nas had stake in it or had some ownership stake in it. I thought it was 105.1 before it flipped formats, and I know it flipped formats, but it came out old school.
Well,
it came out with like all throwback hip hop for like 6 months.
He got mad at Hot 97 over a Summer Jam incident. And he just was like, I'm not doing anything with Hot 97. I'm only going to mess with Power. And yes, Power was one of those stations that was only playing old school.
But it was straight for like 4 or 5 months, and then they stopped.
They didn't last long.
They were entering the market. And then as we know, then they went into what their format.
And then they had like the old school, like Ed Lover. Yeah. And who was the Yo MTV Raps? Who was it? Dr. Dre and Ed Lover, right? Yo MTV Raps. They had those guys do in the morning. Old school, but for some reason they left it. It's wide open in New York though.
Yeah. But then they brought out Angel Martinez.
Right. Well, that's my company. My company's Power 105. It's iHeartRadio. So
they did their thing.
We took Angel.
But that's something I think that a lot of us, not just the fact that we're comfortable with it, but the fact that there's that variety and that you can go to something old school. You know that you can go to a destination and listen to something old school, but also you can go to somewhere else and stay up. And I think that to have that variety
right.
extends the popularity of the culture and also of the music.
No question. You look at it, man. We don't even hear it anymore. When was the last time I heard, you know what I'm saying, Chief Rocker? You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah.
Now, Lords and Underground, come on, man. When was the last time I heard something like that?
Jimmy Rollins left town, you know?
Barrett, man, we need to have like a 4-hour block of not hot groups, but groups that were hot and had like 1 to 3 tracks. And just run a window. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember that Toss It Up track? Was it Ziggy? Toss It Up, you know what I'm saying? Like all this old shit that was like the one-hit wonders, but it was like,
X-Clan.
The problem with that.
I was just thinking that.
Souls of Mischief.
Yo,
Glorious.
the problem with that is when you play too much fringe records, songs, whatever you want to call it, in the radio industry, that sometimes hurts the ratings because they say the average listener pops the radio station for like a music station for like 15-20 minutes. So they're going from their house to Wegmans, whatever.
Right.
You gotta. That's why the repetition. It's only like a 20-minute span, 25 minutes. In those 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you got to play like a big one, not a B-side of.
you gotta play Juicy.
gossip. You get what I'm saying? I got you.
It's not underground.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe, in my opinion, I'm not in charge of music. I would go a little deeper. A little deeper with some more fringe records. I think that's what, I think that would, in the long run, hopefully that's what happens.
Yeah.
You know, we go a little deeper.
So appease somebody like Barrett, give him
Correct.
some words.
Because you'd like to hear like more deeper stuff, right?
No question.
Give me some, you know, deep DOS effects. Not just they want to.
What's real hip hop for you? Like, give me
Redman.
Right.
Okay.
Anything from
Yes.
86
86.
to about 89, 90. Like,
Okay.
if you
got
play Warm It Up, Kane.
How about some Eric B?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But you know,
I hate you preaching to the choir, bro. I got it.
So there's a
Who would you
trap
like
here.
to? You're a big old school fan. Who would you like? What would you like to hear more of on the radio?
just play this whole album.
Wu-Tang all day long.
Wu-Tang again? Oh, yeah.
Like, play Wu-Tang, play Sean. I'm a bad guy to ask, because I want like the hard mob
Right.
shit. I want Sean Price.
You know what I'm saying?
I want that shit in your face.
Right, but
I want like
But see,
Bucktown, you know?
in my business, the radio station Real 106.1, we have 50% male, 50% female. The males, all of us here, right here, they want the more harder stuff.
Women don't.
Okay?
So that's why you gotta
women
play
more
the
hits.
Right.
And I'm generalizing.
That's true.
You need to get a gangster chick.
We play LL.
We get Mary J.
No, we play LL.
But no, but see, like and I get it. He wants, like old LL. Walking with a Panther, like, you know, rock the bells. But the stations want to play not doing it because the women want to hear doing it too, right?
It's a balance.
I need love.
It's a
was
balance.
still a bad man.
That was.
As far as
These boys are hard. I'm gonna go in right now.
Go ahead.
As far as regular radio is concerned, there have been other companies who have done the throwbacks. They have gone too deep, which equals failure. That is the issue that we as a company, other guys went what you want, and yes, there's going to be an audience. How much of that? They've gone too deep. They're playing 3 songs in B records, and they got the street cred, but at the end of the day, it's about making money. It's about ratings. It's about revenue. So you got to balance. But
why can rock do it and play
Exactly.
Zeppelin and the Stones
AC/DC.
and the Beatles and all of the creators of the genre, but hip hop can't without losing the audience? Where is the disconnect? Is it the numbers?
That's a
Is it
great
just
question.
It's
numbers?
men and women. Blame the women, right?
Blame the women.
But hold up.
That's right. Classic rock is men. Classic rock is men, bro.
But hold up.
They all looked up like.
But I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a real thing. Let's be honest. When you're talking about the Beatles and the Stones, how many
all the
of
same audience?
women who are listening to your radio station don't turn it off as opposed to when you play Shook Ones? And somebody's like,
Right.
give me some Drake or give me something that's more in tune with what I'm saying.
Well, if you're an
It's
artist
to each their own.
and you don't sell to women, you're not going to be successful.
But I'm saying, like, hip hop as a whole has always fought that battle where other genres of music have not. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm saying it is.
Well, it's starting now simply because you look at the people that are spending money now, or people that listen to, like you said, these new hip hop, like Drake, and they love that stuff. That's why you look at what's his name, Kendrick Lamar in the Super Bowl right now,
Yep,
doing
yep.
things like that.
One of
It's
the
that
hottest
mainstream,
guys right now.
You know,
right?
so that mainstream stuff, you know, is starting to sell, but it's not the old school we like to listen to.
All right,
Correct.
so this is an interesting segue because I threw a tweet out a couple of days. And I was just curious, and I wanted to get. It was for the shop, and I like use Twitter as kind of a testing ground. But
Show prep.
exactly. Think about this because we talk top 5, top 10 all the time. And I was just curious if you could actually justify, and I don't mean just throwing it in there. I'm saying like, we're gonna call your ass out and say, all right, well then who the rest of your 9? But if you could legit justify a female MC in your top 10 of all time.
Lauryn Hill.
I agree. Lauryn Hill.
Well, Mike, no,
Like,
Mike,
she
Mike,
expanded.
she
She
expand-
do it all.
no, hold on, let Mike expand
She
on that
sings
one.
more.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm a huge Lauryn Hill fan. I listen to that album to this day.
But
Sure, you
Hold
got
on,
one
hold on.
bro.
But when we're talking about MCs, how much of her album is singing, almost feels more like poetry than rapping.
Does she
You
not
know,
have? All right, that's a fair point.
as an artist,
That's fair.
if we're talking artists,
I'm
MC
talking
Light.
MC.
MC
The
Light.
style that everybody's using now is the same rap style.
I mean, MC Light is one of the best, but like new
MC Light of the Queen,
new
the
school
only
would
two I
have-
can think of.
Forget New Old, just name.
Rhapsody.
Wait, but like most
Rhapsody's
most
nice.
rap is one of
Cardi
the,
B.
is one of the best rappers ever.
All right, thanks for coming out.
Cardi B.
Thanks for coming out. Good show.
Yo, she's the number 1 girl right now.
Yo,
bro.
hold on. If
Right
you
now,
don't say skirt skirt or something like that, you ain't making no money.
Does anybody not like Mos Def? No, everybody loves Mos Def. Mos Def has a rock band, right? So my point with using that, saying yes, she does R&B and she's poetic, but she spit lost ones, she spit nappy heads, like she's an MC. Like
Does
she has
does she have
verses
the,
on
but
verses.
Most has a catalog that says he's a rapper first. Most came on with Black Star. Most came on with Talib.
The
and
first
came
I
in
ever
as a-
heard Lauryn Hill is nappy heads.
But my point
Mona Lisa,
is that there's
right?
not there's a catalog that you can
That was
point
their
to
first
with most.
track.
Well, then
But
you
I'm gonna
gotta
tell you
go
what messed up
MC
Lauryn
Light
Hill.
or
Once she
Queen
insisted,
Latifah.
You don't
that's
have to
why
go
everybody
anywhere.
said-
said that messed her up.
No,
Oh.
I messed her up as just being known
Missy
as a
Elliott.
rapper.
Yeah.
Because what happened was when she was in Sister Act, she was singing, so everybody straight put her in that mode. But her origin is from hip hop rap.
The Fugees' first
she
album.
is a rapper.
Fuji's first album is just Lauren spitting verse on
It's
verse.
Lauren's album.
That's fair.
She's the best lyricist of the three.
She's the only lyricist of the
But
three.
to your
that
question,
She is
I would
old.
probably think probably the number 1 female rapper I would be like close to my top 10 would probably be MC Light. Like,
So are
MC
you,
Light,
could you put Light in your
I'm-
10?
Top 10.
Could. I mean, off her first 2 albums
Paper
alone,
thin.
just
I
top
could-
10.
10% this.
Yeah, here's what I was gonna say. 10% this is one of the greatest diss records of all time. You know, male
can't
or
go in my
female.
top 10.
Why can't she?
See, I don't like to differentiate between men and women. If you nice, you nice.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But how often do you get in a conversation
That's
of who's
why
your top 10?
I put
and
Lauryn
there's-
Hill in my
There's no
top 10.
female MC in that top 10.
I think-
I put
hold on,
as a
real quick,
lyricist,
let's
I
be
put
honest.
MC Light
Yeah,
above
Andre
both.
2000.
Hold on. What?
That's differentiating between women and men though, because you can't
It
say
is,
you can't
but-
say that. I can think of 10 people that's better than Lauryn Hill right now as far as
I can't
female
say.
rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
You don't have to put a female rapper in your
you're
top.
right,
I'm
that's
just-
what I'm saying.
I'm
Yeah.
curious if you could.
I could put
Like
I mean,
Lauryn Hill works for me, but I'm also
Right.
like if I go spit, like who's got flame, like who comes out and just spits. Well, shit, I'll put Rod Digger number 10 of all time
Okay.
because
With the Lady of Rage.
hell
Rod
yeah.
I think Rhapsody. I think Rhapsody.
All right,
better
The
than
Lady of
both of them.
Rage.
Yeah, right.
Well, you gotta go back and
I was
follow
going-
some shit she did with Busta.
Put it in this
MC Light,
perspective, though.
Nice.
Put it in this perspective
First
on it, right?
name Rashida.
If I asked all of
She's
you
nice.
guys who is the 10th, your top 10 quarterback, who's the 10th best quarterback in the NFL, I bet each and every single one of you have a different answer. So to Eitan's point, it's not is Lauryn Hill or MC Light or Latifah 10. It's just that when you start to get down to 10, just like with quarterbacks, you start to get down to
hard.
not the best of the best. And you could say, yeah, I could see Redman and I could see Lauryn Hill outdoing him on a track. You can see that. She is right up there. And then for me, Lauryn is probably the best female lyricist, although Latifah was great too. But I think you could justify the idea that she belongs in that conversation
Absolutely.
for the 100 people that might fit number 10.
I think
I
Lauryn
agree.
Hill is a lock for people. I would
Light?
say MC
I think
Light,
Light.
should be a lock for most people, not Barrett, but that's
Lauryn
fine.
Light.
But hold on,
Who
Chio.
you like? Who you like, bro? Female. Who you like?
Just like you said, Rod Digger. I don't know. I mean,
Asia Sparks.
I would tell you who I like.
She got skills.
Hold on.
We got to give her a shot. We got
Everybody.
I would put Bahamadia too.
She is lyrical.
I agree.
No,
That's
totally
message
agree.
right there.
Well, look,
My freshman year of college, I got into it with New York cats all the time because I was coming down there. I'm like, yo,
let's
this
not
girl
beat up
out
on
of
New York cats.
But I was like, this girl out of Philly named Bahamadia. She's
And
nice.
they didn't know
She's
anyone here.
and they were like, they didn't think anyone could be nicer than White. And I put on the Proceed remix.
She was
when
incredible.
she was like,
That's
give
what
me
I heard.
five
Funk
mics.
vibe.
When
Funk vibe.
I had that joint too, funk vibe. I put on the
Before you
Proceed
close this
remix,
segment out,
and it was
I
like,
have
yo.
to, I have to give a nod to the old school because Shy Rock from Funky 4+1.
Yeah.
Shy Rock
A lot of
was
shit.
I
nice.
said you were going to go Roxanne.
I like Sean better than Roxanne though.
Okay.
No, you like her better than Roxanne Shante? You know?
Go listen to old Funky 4+1.
Roxanne Shante.
Roxanne
She was nice. She was
And
on
for her
16.
time, she was a beast.
Especially being so young.
All right, last one,
that's
and
the joint
Chio
of
brought her
my
up.
career.
That's because she's worth talking about. She might not be, she's definitely not the strongest lyricist, but to go back to the point about Lauryn Hill, she's an entertainer, and she definitely has a message, and she is insane, and that's Missy Elliott.
Missy.
I would put her up there in the top 3. As far as like big mass appeal, I mean, I think she was the first female to go over the top.
She
Over
turned
the top.
corners people women didn't do. You know, producing.
I feel like she's a better
total
producer. I feel like her production is better than
Hold on. You got that from Zay? You got that from Zay?
What did he say? What did he
She was
say?
a female Kanye West at the time.
Yeah. Oh, all right. That's right. That's a good comparison.
But Joe, isn't that
Y'all got smart young boy.
Kanye can't really rap, but he can do everything else.
Right. Production better than lyrics. Absolutely.
And Rhyme Fest wrote some of them rhymes.
Oh, look who walking in the door.
All right. We're going to take a time out because we got a special guest in the house.